Okay, we already got some comments. Awesome. Okay, hello everyone. We are live. Welcome to our second office hours session. We have everyone here. We are going to be talking through a lot of stuff today. Oops. I had it playing. I was hearing myself too many Kates. Awesome. To start, we'll be running this similar to last time. So just throw your questions in the chat here. We'll take time to answer Q&A. We'll be going through kind of what's new, what to expect next. Really excited to have everyone here. I think Eric.
Actually, Kate, before we dig in, it's too many Kates. This reminds me. This is like random, but while we're kind of waiting for folks to come in, super excited to see everyone. Too many Kates. Have you seen the Adult Swim thing? Too Many Cooks. It came out. So this, as of a couple of days ago, I saw it on Twitter. It's been 10 years since that video came out. Has anyone here actually seen that? Off the cut? No. Oh my God. All right. Okay. If you haven't seen it, then I don't know if I'd say I highly recommend seeing it, but it was kind of this viral sensation because it is bizarre. Has anyone in the chat seen this? Like, Too Many Cooks? No. Okay. All right. I thought this was more of a thing than apparently it's kind of seeming. I'm like totally alone. But apparently it's been 10 years. One of the people that worked on it tweeted about it, and they're like, this was like the most wild, weird thing I've ever done as a videographer or whatever in my life. Anyway, so when you said Too Many Kates, I was like, that relevant time.
Homework for the session. Go watch that
exactly.
clip.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it, but it's on Adult Swim. So if it's like whatever the TV rating was for like 18 and older or whatever, but it does feel like AI made it. Paper Stream said that. Yeah, I can't believe it came out 10 years ago. It is so bizarre. It's like I can't believe humans thought up that thing.
I love it. Well, Eric, last time you ended the session talking about the shirt you were wearing for that session. Now let's talk about the shirt you're currently wearing for this session.
Yeah, no, I mean, totally crazy, right? I mean, what are the odds, that I'm wearing, it's not like I just, did an Ironman last weekend. No, I was joking. What our head of sales said, I should wear this the entire week. So I took the challenge. So I think today is gonna be the last day. This thing needs a wash, but did do that. I also the other kind of crazy thing, just totally unplanned. Not only do I have the shirt, I've got the hat, and I get what does that word say? Is that backward? No, finisher. I did it. Anyways, I'm just joking around, but so that's new. This thing's sticking out. Yep, that's new. That was fun. That was pretty grueling. But Dom's actually doing a full next year too. So Dom, you're in like peak training now, right?
Not right now.
Not right now. Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's my off season.
When does the season start?
The season starts next week.
That sounds like an excuse. You just gotta just do it.
Excuse.
Just do it. Are you not
important? Recovery is important.
I love it. Oh yeah.
I guess the question everyone's asking is, do you need to do an Ironman to be at Stack Blitz? Right.
It's recommended. It's smiled upon. It's smiled upon. That and like jumping in a cold plunge. Cool stuff. So how about we dig in? Kind of get rolling today. So we got a lot of fun stuff going on here over at Stack Blitz. First of all, I don't know if anyone for those of you that saw it and have already participated, awesome, like super excited. We are on Product Hunt today. We had a ton of folks reach out and say, hey, you should post on Product Hunt. So I'm going to share my screen. So we are on Product Hunt. We are number one on Product Hunt right now, which is super, super awesome. So if you've given us an upvote on it, thank you for doing that. Also, I wanted to just call this out. Like, one of the reasons that we wanted to post on Product Hunt was that we wanted to encourage everyone who's been using Bolt to like go and post what they've been building in the comments. And there have been a ton of y'all that have gone and shared the stuff that you've been working on. And we are seeing all-time traffic highs today. I think I said that like last week. It's kind of like a daily, weekly occurring thing at this point. Where we kind of break the previous day or week's record of traffic. And so there's a lot of people, I think, going and checking this out right now. So this is it's kind of rare that you have an opportunity to like shamelessly like shill something that you're proud of and working on, where a lot of people on the internet are going to see it. And so I want to highly encourage everyone who's tuning in to go and do that. Like this is a super cool opportunity here to share what you've been building, and people want to see it. So go ahead and post. Maybe we can get the link into the chat for right, guys. If you go to producthunt.com, it's the #1 thing. So that is probably the fastest way to go and kind of find the post. But wanted to encourage everyone to go and share what you're working on. I mean, we've been loving kind of seeing all the different things folks have been posting here, and then the different things you've been building. So anyways, that's something that's pretty cool. Want to give a shout out to our DevOps team. They've done a great job. Not just today, but previous days and weeks, keeping our servers online, keeping our GPUs online. I think today we had to scale up even more from where we were at. So if you saw any slowdown maybe a few hours ago, that should be extremely resolved at this point, thanks to auto scaling. So just want to share that. This is kind of the thing. One of the cool things we have going on today is that we're live on Product Hunt. We wanted to encourage all of you to go ahead and comment and take a look at it, and maybe throw it an upvote if you dig Bolt. I imagine if you're here, hopefully you fall into that category. But another thing I actually wanted to show, and actually maybe Tomek, you can do this. Tomek made an awesome tutorial on YouTube. Like one of the most requested things folks have wanted to learn more about with Bolt is how do I actually build like a backend, like a real app. Maybe you're doing authentication, etc. And so the kind of two most popular options are Firebase and Supabase. And so Tomek actually made the first video in this series, which is on Firebase. I got to tell you, I opened it, I was like, this is crazy. Like the quality is, it's just insane. Tomek did an incredible job, and it's been getting just a good amount of organic pickup. I think it's got almost like 5,000 views or something, and it's been, I don't know, a day or two. But I don't know, Tomek, if you want to like share your screen, just kind of show the video, we can put the link in chat. But anyways, if you're interested in like building full stack stuff with Bolt, this is good stuff. Tomek did a really good job.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Eric. I can share the screen and quickly go over what I've talked about. Let's see. Okay. So basically, previously I built like a simple habit tracking app, and when you do any app like this with any kind of persistence in Bolt, it already persists it somehow. So I explained how this works and why it's good for some cases, but maybe you need to grow it to use something like Supabase or Firebase after that. So we go into a little bit of technical details on like where this data is initially being stored, and then like how to set up everything from basically no Firebase experience, no account, to having the first database created, setting up the configuration details, and so on. And kind of that's it. That took me like 7 minutes to go through to connect this to the app. The actual, without talking, that would be like probably 1.5 minutes or 2. So pretty sweet experience. And the next one will be about making it even more real and adding authorization and user accounts, because right now it's kind of, free for all kind of app. But every app like this needs a login, sign in section. So this is coming next week.
Yeah, super cool. And I don't know if we shared the link in the chat. We should totally check that out if you're interested in how to build full stack apps. And I'm stoked for the next one. And so the other updates that have shipped, and today we're kind of start off with like what are the things that are on prod, or the things that we've published or whatever have you, and then we're going to get into some sneak peeks of what's coming next, and then some community spotlights. But as far as things that have shipped, maybe we can go through kind of the list that we got here. Who wants to show the new visibility settings, which is pretty darn useful? I can show it if no one else wants to show it.
Go ahead, Eric.
All right. I thought you'd never let me do it. I just, I was like, will they give me permission? Can I do this? I didn't ship this. I can't. This is like stolen valor. Let me go and pull this up. So, all right. So got my bolt.new pulled up over here. Should see that in a second. Let me go ahead and pull up a project. But is it? Can you see my screen? There we go.
I can't.
Cool. All right.
Wait, now I can.
Cool. So one of the things that when we launched Bolt, the only way, and then there's still a couple of things, and we actually have some questions for you all to get your opinions on later on one of these things. But some of the controls of like for your project, like sharing, like is it public, is it private? You had to go and click open in Stack Blitz, and then modify like the visibility here, and then go back to Bolt, and then it would update there, right? So something that's cool is Yuka on our team. She shipped this. It's a nice, simple, beautiful ship. The lock icon. Click it. Say if you want it to be public, secret, so it's unlisted. Like a YouTube video only accessible by URL, or private. All Bolt projects are private by default. So you have to opt in to actually making these things public. This makes it super easy. You can just click, boom. Now it's public. Now everyone can access this thing. Make it private again. Etc. So that's ship number one. So this saves a couple of page loads, couple of clicks. Just nice, simple ship. So that's number one. Number two, I guess while I'm at it, maybe I'll show the other thing that shipped. I actually found out about this today. I was like, this is on prod. How was I unaware that this landed? One of the most glaring omissions, in my view, when we ship Bolt, is that Stack is an IDE company. Like, we built web IDEs, and we shipped an IDE that you couldn't manually create files and folders in yourself. We have fixed that. That is on prod. You can right click, and we got this nice context menu. Ari on our team made this, and there's some extra stuff going to be landing in this pretty shortly here. I can create a new file, say hello.js. There we go. I should be able to ls or cd into the source folder and actually see hello.js there. And same thing, I can create folders as well, et cetera, rename them, delete them. Super useful. Like the delete one is in particular, sometimes the AI will generate files you don't need anymore. And the only way to delete them has been go like RM, using RM in the terminal to get rid of them. No longer. You can right click, get rid of them. I'd love to take credit for inventing this concept of a full file system tree. I do think this has been around since like the 80s though. And it's great to have it landed in ours. Like, super stoked that we got this landed. One of the funny things about just like shipping an MVP, you just have to cut corners on things that are like, how do the people are like, how do you ship without a mobile responsive view, which we still need to do, by the way. But it's like, it's meant to be used on desktop. Like, we got other high priority things to take on. But anyway, so that shipped. Super stoked on that. And onto the final ship that is on prod. I'm actually going to hand it over to Sam V, who's going to show what he worked on with. Did you work with Joanne on that, Sam, or was it someone? Was it?
Yeah, I was together with Joanne.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and walk us through the problem and the solution, just to get for context to kind of like what we're seeing and why.
Yeah. Okay. So the problem right now is that we don't have history yet on production. And basically, last week we made a change to how we store snapshots. And snapshots are basically used to roll back to a certain checkpoint when you're like you're chatting with the AI makes changes, and every time we create a snapshot so that you can easily roll back to that snapshot. So what happened, which is a bug of mine actually, was that there was an issue there when we applied the snapshot. Actually, people lost their entire source folder. So in order to basically address that and let people restore their projects again, we came up with a way to actually see all your backups that you have for that project, and you can actually like start a new project from a certain backup. So as you can see here right now, I created like a simple CLI app which logged hello world, and then I said like log hello foo instead. So when I refresh now, I basically lose the checkpoint because we don't have the persistence yet. So I cannot go back anymore. So if this state was now broken, I'm like, oh fuck, like how can I restore? Maybe I lost 2 weeks of work. So what we did, it is a bit hidden because it is an intermediate solution. We want to roll out something more fancy and more powerful. But if you're on a project, you can go to settings here, backups, and then you will see that I have one backup, which was from my first chat message. So when I click load, it will not override this project. It will basically create a new project with that backup. So you say create fork, and now it redirected me to a new project, and now I have hello world here. So if I lost my entire source folder, I can still go to the backups, and I can still like restore to a state where it still worked and you didn't lose work. So that is something we shipped, I believe, yesterday. Well, depending on the time zone, yesterday evening.
Yeah, it was pretty late for us.
Yeah, while I was having breakfast, you shipped it or whatever. Yeah,
yeah, something like that.
But yeah, and I mean, this has been, and this is kind of in the vein. I mean, a lot of people in the chat are saying, "Yep, this happened to me," etc. And so all new chats going forward are having every checkpoint being persisted now. So this is a big, and it's not hasn't been visible, but behind the scenes we rolled out. Sam's been leading a lot of work on our infrastructure to automatically be storing checkpoints, and so that when we introduce the ability to have persistence of your chat and checkpoints, that's all just going to be there. You're going to come to StackBlitz one day, maybe even tomorrow, and your checkpoints and your chats from previous days are going to be there, unlike kind of how StackBlitz or how Bolt has worked today, right? And I think that's kind of a perfect lead-in into some sneak peeks. So I'm pretty proud of everyone that's all the video boxes on this screen and everyone on the StackBlitz team, because tomorrow will be 1 month since we publicly launched bolt.new, and folks have just been working their tails off to get really like the highest priority fixes and kind of holes in the experience plugged as fast as possible. And we've got a couple of things to show you today that are the most requested things, and I think are going to have the biggest impact on the experience of using Bolt. And I think you all will probably agree when you see these. And so to kick off, I want to hand it back to Sam, because what he just showed there was an interim fix because there's a bug introduced and we wanted to give people a way to roll back. But the work he did, on the persistence layer here was a bit grander in ambition. And that is, well, I'm not going to steal the thunder. Sam, back to you.
Second, I'm sharing my screen. Okay. Here it is. So yeah, this is not live today, but hopefully soon. So I created a Facebook clone, like in the good old days. I then deployed my application here, which gives me a URL. Looks pretty good. And then I ask like, add some advertisements because, you know, Facebook is full of them and that's the only way they can make money. So I did that, and then it updated to something like this, where you see like nice sponsored ads. If I refresh now, the project will load again, and I will still have my chat history here. But more importantly, maybe Mark Zuckerberg at some point says like, I want to roll back to a scenario where we don't have ads and where everything is beautiful, like in the good old days. So he still has the checkpoint here. So what he can do is he can say like, okay, let me wait until my Facebook app booted. Okay, and now I can say roll back to checkpoint because I don't want the ads. And boom, we don't have the ads anymore. And now I have my beautiful non-ad Facebook clone again, and I can redeploy this, or I can start from this checkpoint again. So when I refresh now, we should see that we don't have the ads anymore, and we only have like the first Facebook clone message.
Let's
yeah,
go. Let's
actually, the good thing is that we are already storing the data today. So actually the CLI app I created on bolt.new is already in my list here because I actually already created it. This was the thing I started with on bolt.new where I showed the backups. Yeah, so it's already being persisted, but it's basically just the front end that we still have to release to make all of this work, and hopefully like there are no bugs anymore after some people tested it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Just want to give a shout out because that's pretty significant work. I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's
am
amazing.
pretty excited about this.
Yeah. And just to like, you know, I think a lot of people, I mean, I've had, you know, people that are friends of mine, I would say in my DMs, just like yesterday, they're like, how have you not shipped chat and checkpoint persistence? Like, how could you, like, why? And it's because it's understandable. Like every other AI chat product, you know, kind of has that built in. And the thing with Bolt is it like, I think a lot of the challenges and then some of the other stuff we're going to show you, it falls in this category. Solving when you're dealing with a real code base and not just like a single React component or whatever, right? When you have to deal with a large code base with many files, it is way harder. And an operating system that's going to be running stuff and blah, blah, blah. It is way harder to control it properly, to accurately snapshot things and resume them properly. And so it's something that, and you know, just from a storage perspective and bandwidth perspective, there's a ton of considerations that have to go into this sort of thing. And so like this is it's beautiful how simple what Sam just demonstrated is, right? Like it's kind of like, obviously that's how this should work, right? But to do that and do it reliably, do it fast, it's hard. Like really not a straightforward thing. And it's taken a number of weeks of iteration for us to really get there. And so hats off to you, Sam. You've done a great job leading the work on this. It's insanely fast how the chats resume, the checkpoints resume. You can, you know, roll between the checkpoints with this stuff being, you know, actually coming from now in the origin of a server. And so we actually we're doing something new here today. We are actually going to be sharing the preview deployment URLs. For those of you that want to test, you can log in with your Bolt account. And by the way, for all of the preview URLs we share, we have done a good amount of testing, but things may break, you know, so just FYI, maybe don't, if you're working on a production app in it, maybe fork it first and, you know, just to be safe or whatever have you. But we'd love your help testing this. If you're, you know, we'd love for you to take a crack at throwing the new persistence stuff, you know, for a whirl and seeing how it works. And so if we can go and get that URL posted into the chat for the persistence, you can go ahead and log in. We got another couple ones coming up, by the way, so you know, stay tuned. But yeah, it seems like people are pretty stoked in the chat over here. One thing, Kevin's Dev, awesome to see you here. You're actually in our community spotlight at the end here, so I don't want to ruin it. But Kevin's Dev has been doing an amazing job in the open source Bolt world. has beat us to the punch on shipping persistence. So Kev's asking, I don't know if Kev is your first name, but I'm just going to call you Kev for short. Will some of these features be pushed to the open source repo? Good question. We talked about this last week. I think we talked about it last week. Basically, we've just been so swamped just getting the P0s addressed for our prod stuff. We haven't been able to meaningfully figure out our strategy on how we roll this stuff back to open source, because like Kev has actually been working on cool stuff. And there's been some other projects that have been trying to PR into the bolt.new repo for different models and stuff like that. So we're trying to figure out, okay, how much do we want to like let other folks be contributing in, but then that might hurt our ability to bring stuff backwards. So anyways, I think in the next couple of weeks, we're getting to a point where we're stabilizing. We'll have a better strategy there. But at a minimum, we want to put a spotlight on folks like Kev, the work that you're doing, which you're in our community spotlight actually, and figuring out how the things that are of value and relevance for folks to be using and they're forkable. We certainly want to be bringing back. Cool, good stuff. Okay, so that's update number 1. I think for the sake of time, just because we only got an hour and we got a couple more demos, I think, to do. Or maybe it's one more like that. Maybe we can kick it over to the second demo that we got. So this is the second major thing. I mentioned this last week when we talked about kind of the pricing structure changes, et cetera. We've been able to actually like negotiate volume discounting by having different subscription tiers, et cetera, with our AI providers. The other lever is like, can we make Bolt more efficient? Like, can we, in a very seamless, almost invisible way, can we just like use less tokens per message? Like, per dollar, how do we increase the number of messages you can send on Bolt? Because like that is our incentive. Like, we want you to get the most value you possibly can out of every cent of like a StackBlitz Bolt subscription. And so Dom has been leading work for a month now, I think, into this realm of things. Pretty close. I mean, 3 or 4 weeks. It's been a good amount. And I think some of this stuff started even before the launch, but multiple weeks of hard work here that Dom's been leading into this. And so Dom, I'll hand it over to you because we've got some exciting updates that are incredible, that not only preserve tokens but make the entire Bolt experience crazy fast. So go ahead and take it away.
All right, thanks. I don't have such a cool storyline as Sam had. Like that, I think that was pretty funny with Facebook. No, it was cool. I don't have such cool story, but okay. So so we've been sinking our teeth really deep into kind of like how can we optimize the general performance of Bolt, and while at the same time reducing like token usage significantly. And that's what we've been looking into. And I think I'm pretty excited to kind of share with all of you that we've made some breakthroughs in how we handle like code generation and modifications. And I think it's actually like speaking like personally, I there's more depth to this than I have ever anticipated. Like there's so many edge cases and it requires so much like research, which is why this has taken so long. Or we've actually done our homework of like trying to figure out a really reliable way of getting the model to like, generate like give us smaller outputs while making everything faster. So essentially what we've been like investigating is like, how can we get the model to, so I'll give you some background. These models and LLMs are particularly good at generating files from top to bottom. Like that's what they've been trained on. And that makes up essentially the majority of the training data is like, files, like full files, which is why it's like really good at generating like, files from top to bottom. However, that's for the end user, that's pretty bad, right? In multiple ways. The output tokens, like it produces a ton of output tokens. Output tokens are very expensive. And also it means that the overall experience is, well, pretty slow, because if you're asking the model to make like a small change, then essentially what will happen is it will generate the whole file from scratch for maybe just a one-line change. And so that's essentially what we've like researched, and how can we make that better? What approaches do we have? And so I'm going to share my screen and show you what we've been working on. Present, share screen.
And just to add some depth to like the complexity of this, I mean, so Dom has background actually in machine learning prior to coming to StackBlitz 4 or 5 years ago. And Dom's actually been working with folks over on the Anthropic side on what you're about to see here, because this is, one of the folks on their side just said, like, our agent stuff is some of the most sophisticated, complex stuff that they have seen in production on their models. So this is kind of pushing like literally the limits of like what you can do with the frontier models right now. So just want to add a little bit of context. Like this is I would say this is a pretty big deal. Because there's really not heck, the folks making these models didn't have a prior art to kind of point us out. So go ahead, Dom.
Yeah, and I will say, like, generating diffs. So essentially, like I said, right, we can generate files from top to bottom, but what we've implemented, I'm going to show that, is a diff-based approach. So instead of like regenerating full files, the model can actually make like really precise changes to single files and just like change a few lines. And that, at least in the findings that, and from all the testing we've done so far, can easily reduce, in certain cases, token usage by up to 90%, which is huge. Like, it is a huge difference. And also speed, speed and performance improvements can easily be up to, like, we're talking, like, the impact is huge. We're talking, well, you're going to see in a second, but like, we're talking 30 seconds versus 2 seconds or 3 seconds. Like, the difference is really, really massive in certain cases. It's hard to like generalize that. It really always depends. But anyways, like, I'm going to stop talking and I'm just going to show it to you. So yeah, on the right, we have bolt.new, which is the production site. I actually switched to the dark theme so we can better tell them apart. On the left is the preview, which contains like the diff-based approach. It is not novel, but like it actually took a lot of research in getting this reliable. Like, it's not that easy. And so on the left, we have the preview, like I said. And let's actually do the same thing on both sides. So I'm just going to add, well, let's not go like too crazy. Maybe we'll say like, build me a snake game. So, I mean, it's going to take a while. Build me a snake game. Hopefully this is going to work like fine here. Okay, so what we can see is for like creating new files, it will generate the files from top to bottom. But we will see the magic when we actually ask for changes. So like, generally speaking, at the beginning, you will see mostly like it actually depends on like the files that already exist, like what you're asking and how many changes it has to make or how many new files it will create. So yeah, so it's actually a little slower here, a little bit of latency. Maybe a lot of people are using Bolt. Okay, so we have our snake game here. Hopefully it spins up in a second.
So just for clarity, so the left is the magical new goodness, and the right is what's currently available on bolt.new production, correct?
Yes, right is production, left is preview. So the dark version is production. Okay, so I can actually start the game. Seems to work fine. Okay, so let's go ahead. Okay, that actually looks really, really nice. Okay, both versions, let's just make sure that both of them work. Looks good. So now I'm just going to go ahead and make a, well, seemingly small change, right? So I'm just going to say,
Start with the right side. Start with the right side first.
Make the probably app. I would say it's in the game, which is pretty, like, it has 204 lines of code. And like potentially the color of the apple is somewhere in here, I would imagine. Probably. Anyways, I'm just gonna ask like make the food whatever blue. So let's see what it's gonna do. Yeah, so it updates the whole game, right? Like I said, that's what most LLMs are trained trained on. They're really good at doing this. So it generates this whole thing. So this easily, I mean, I don't have a timer, but this easily takes up to 20 seconds, I would say. So
While
we
we're
see.
waiting, you want to kick off the next one?
Oh yeah, sorry.
No, I mean, for
I'm
the
like
sake
just
of the
watching
demo,
it. Like I was
Yeah.
entertained actually for a second. Make the
pull the Porsche behind the Cybertruck, you know?
Yeah. Game board. So we're just gonna go here. So okay, it's blue. Perfect. Let's see. Did you see that? It just made that line of change. Boom, it's blue. Did you see the difference? I mean, that is massive.
Insane.
Like
is
on the
insane.
surface, I just want to say that again. On the surface, this seems simple, but like I just want to emphasize that we're working with a system which is very far from deterministic. Like we're, like giving it instructions is not always guaranteed that it will follow instructions. So, which is why this, it takes a lot of work to actually get this to work reliably. So I can just go ahead and like ask for more changes. Just like, I don't know, like
Change the color
like,
again. I mean, just like and post them, like copy paste it at like the same time. I'm curious actually to see this because
add some walls
I haven't been able to test this like side by side yet myself. So I'm actually like just
just gonna say add some walls every 5 seconds. Let's just okay. So here we go. We see it side by side, more or less. It's changing like these lines. Also, this is only kind of like the baseline of the diff-based approach, right? So you can see it's not like the UX is not yet like fully polished. Like we're gonna ship as follow-ups, like a whole bunch of improvements where you can actually see the diff. Maybe we're gonna introduce like look at this, it's already finished while this is still generating all the code. So if I click on this, hopefully after 5 seconds, it should actually add a wall. Hopefully it doesn't add a wall. Okay. Okay, it didn't add a wall, but yeah, you can see this is still generating. Okay, even though this didn't work, I'm not sure why it didn't add walls. But yeah,
the case in point is, I mean, sometimes it doesn't, right? And like what sucks is that sometimes you have to be more specific, and and then if you burn a ton of tokens on something that where the AI screwed up, that sucks, right? And so that just eliminated a ton of tokens that would have been normally spent on something that didn't work and maybe needed further instruction or something.
Yeah,
right?
correct. Like just imagine, right? For every change you're asking for, it would regenerate like hundreds of lines of code. Whereas now, like, it's a small change actually. Interesting that the right side added walls and this is just failing to add walls. But I don't think it has anything to do with like the diff-based approach. I think it's just like it would probably take a couple of iterations on the left-hand side to, keep prompting and saying like, oh, I still don't see walls. But yeah, anyways, I think this kind of demonstrates the power of the new diff-based approach, which we're very, very excited about. Not only, again, like this matters because it significantly reduces token usage, and it just makes it more precise, like less chances of unintended changes in like unrelated parts of the code. That as well, right? Because it makes like almost like a doctor, which makes like super precise, like, operations on very specific parts of your body.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I'll look at it at the diff-based approach.
Well, I think the other thing too is, I mean, it closes the feedback loop even further, right? Because like, when you're sitting there and you're like prompting the LLM, I have said this a lot of times, over the years at Stackbits, and also kind of as we launch Bolt, like our mission has always been like, how do you get an idea into your fingertips, into the keyboard, and get response as fast as possible? And that is the like this is 100% going to allow you to get more messages per dollar, right? But it is going to get you more hits at bat per minute. Like you're going to be able to go and actually do more iterations faster in the same amount of time for less tokens, and that's huge. And so however fast you've been building with Bolt now, it's going to get a lot faster. So anyway, so I think there's really to me they're just as important here, right? You know, the token reduction aspects and the speed aspects of this thing, right? So we got a preview URL that you know, we'd love for you all to go and test out. This is very fresh. Maybe if y'all can make a snake game and see if you can get some walls to not show up or make them show up on the preview branch, that might be helpful. But you know, we you know, this is a big change, and we're stoked to get it out. We also don't want to roll this out into production. We've got our own internal testing, et cetera, that we do. But this is a big one. We want to get people, you know, like folks that are want to be on the cutting edge and want to give this stuff a shot and give their feedback. We want to get this in your hands. And again, this is it's not like some other version of Bolt. This is tied into your production Bolt account, the preview URLs you're using. So if you have projects that you're, you know, developing on bolt.new, when you use the preview URL, you can actually edit those. And when they are being edited and saved, you can open them back up on the bolt.new production site. So it's not like you have to kind of spin up something brand new. Again, you know, I would just out of abundance of caution for these preview URLs, I would fork the projects. If for anything that's like important or whatever, I would fork them and make changes in a fork just to make sure you're not losing data or something like that. Shouldn't happen. But you know, this is alpha stuff that we're kind of hammering out. And we'd like to land this stuff, you know, either this week or early next, you know, assuming we don't find any regressions, et cetera. So we'd love your help. And so maybe we can post the link in the chat here, so folks can access it. We see some people asking for it. But
actually, what I want to throw in is like probably everyone is kind of like familiar with these, you know, the laziness of models. Like that's also one thing that actually the new Diff-based approach helps a lot with. Like laziness in terms of the model at some point gets lazy and adds these comments like, oh, your other code here, or like previous code here, like with these comments. Generally speaking, from the testing we've done, we see significant improvements in the model being less lazy with the diff-based approach. I just wanted to throw that in because, like, I know it's been like mentioned
it's a huge
many times on GitHub. It's like, oh, it always adds these comments. I think the diff-based approach should help, and it should just make it like a lot more precise.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and that's a problem for like all of these AI code gen apps, basically, because yeah, the LLMs will just get lazy. So yeah, this helps a lot because we're not, you know, it's not writing out full files, etc. But yeah, so that's the other major one. So I think we got the link in the chat here. So we'd love to hear your feedback. If you please join our Discord community, discord.gg/stackblitz, or tweet at us. We've got a bolt.new community on Twitter. There's actually a subreddit that was created today that I'm going to show in the community spotlight in a little bit here. Yeah, so that's those are kind of the main you know, sneak peeks we wanted to show you. We also have two quick updates. One's an update from last week, actually. So Joanna, I want to hand it over to you. Talk to us about targeting and locking files. And for those who didn't see that, last week's session is recorded on YouTube, so you can kind of take a look. You can provide the link maybe. But yeah, Joanna, so what's going on with targeting and locking files? Like, I want this so bad. And when can I expect Christmas this year, you know?
So I have good news. I think it should probably land later this week. I had to work on something else because we had you know, the snapshotting issue to finish. But essentially, just to give a quick recap on what it does, is that it lets you tell the model, don't touch this file, only focus on this file. And it does two things. It instructs the model to do that, but then if the model still tries to make the changes, it aborts the request so that it saves some tokens and it avoids having, you know, the model generating a file you didn't want and all of those tokens wasted. So that's the big change. I have a preview reel I can share if we want to do that. Yeah, let's do it. But yeah, and the UI essentially is not the UX, is not just there yet, but the idea is that you'll be able to right-click on a file, or folder, and say, focus on this, don't touch this with the lock icon, and that's it. So it's kind of a power user feature for advanced use cases. So that's why it's not, in your face. But that's essentially the gist of it.
Cool.
Pretty
Yeah.
excited about that one, yeah.
Me too. Me too. And that again helps
Awesome
with
work on it as well.
yeah, awesome
It's
work. I mean, it's
super
good. Huge for reducing unnecessary token usage, right? And like and AI overwriting files that like an env file or whatever. Like just when you're actually if you're meaningfully using Bolt, it's it's a godsend. So yeah, let's get that preview URL in chat for folks to try out. It'll be we should probably post these on Twitter too after, just so people have like a thread they can go and look at to try this stuff out. Cool. And last but not least here, we've had some stuff, like making our production builds and deploys a little more reliable. Sam Denty calling in from Ireland, I believe. Are you there, Sam Denty?
Yeah. So yeah, I've worked on making like the deploys. So when you encounter like build errors, you can like auto fix them automatically, and it will like deploy the application. And I've also got some other error fixes, like STD error passing. So like when the Vite app, because Vite has like a dev server that doesn't like crash straight away. It just like shows runtime errors. So that should allow for better error like handling and auto fixes. Yeah,
because a lot of times like people click deploy and they just like they see like a white screen because it's like deploying and the dev servers not running anymore, and there will be an error that Vite is reporting, but it's right now we haven't been capturing that and like saying, hey, there's an error. So what Denty is describing here is like that we are going to do that. We're going to say, hey, this seems to be broken. Should we fix this?
And also with the errors on the messages, like the chat not completing, we're looking into that. So it should be more reliable, hopefully in the next couple of hours. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Awesome stuff. Cool. Okay. So kind of next up, I think a lot of our focus, going into this coming, the end of this week and early next week is the things that we just have been talking about and showing. We want to get those stabilized and landed. And we want to make sure we do that in a high quality way where, the experience is really great and it's very seamless. And these are monster PR. So this is, you can test them all you want. You can write evals all you want. You need to go and test them. And so your help is very much appreciated, to help us get this stuff landed sooner rather than later. One other thing I just want to mention is for folks that have been using Bolt to build like real products, there's been kind of a broken part of the deployment flow where when you deploy a Netlify site, once you claim it to your account, we can no longer push to that site anymore. We can't make updates because we no longer have like StackBlitz until you claim the site. StackBlitz owns the site, so to speak. But once you claim it, we no longer have access. So the problem is like if you want to add your own domain, you have to claim it. But then if you do that, you can't use Bolt to keep it up to date anymore, right? And so we've got an update we're going to be landing where you can actually basically add your authorization key for Netlify into Bolt. And that way you can just create Netlify sites, keep pushing to them, add domains, etc., and just keep smoothly doing that. I think we're on track to land that early next week. We want to get it out sooner, but just with we have a lot of major PRs landing, and we had to be a little dynamic in how we've been kind of spreading out the small team of ours to kind of hit all the things we've been talking about here. But want to quick update on that, and that's been kind of a pain point for folks who've been making production sort of stuff. The second thing, we actually want to get your feedback on something. One of the common pieces of or maybe a common confusion point that of folks that use Bolt is they say, hey, I'm sharing my screen here. Kate, if you can pop that up. When you're in a Bolt application, they're like, hey, I want to like download a zip file of this project, and I think a lot of people aren't potentially aware that they can also, make this public and then share the URL. So we've kind of got two problems we want to solve for. Today you can download a zip, but you have to open it in StackBlitz first, and then click this. What's this thing? Well, let's click this download project icon over here. So kind of like a roundabout thing. We want to get your opinion. So we're like, should we add a download zip button here or something? Should we add like a share button with like a modal that pops up that says, okay, you can download zip, or you can, here's the link to this thing and you can make it public or whatever have you. I think those are the two ideas that were being proposed. I think actually another idea was just putting the download zip button there. I believe Tomek, I think you had proposed that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So,
Yep.
Tomek, you I believe you made, so for this for our live stream today, in anticipation of getting your feedback, we used Bolt to create a live polling application with Firebase using Tomek made a tutorial on how to use Firebase with Bolt, so he took those skills and made a polling app. Tomek, why don't you go ahead and like pull up your screen and actually why don't you make the poll and then we'll share the link in the chat for people to vote on it.
Yeah. Like Eric said, we had like a pretty good ideas, different opinions, and to save our friendships, we decided to ask the community for resolution. Anyways, so that's the community polls app, and I made it so for now, like it took me literally like 15 or 20 minutes, so there's not a lot to it, but I'll sign in as an admin, and you should be able to vote. So let's post that. Kate, can you post that link? And okay, so where should we place the download button? And the first option was Eric, can you
download zip button in the files pane was the first one.
In the files
at the top, next to the other two buttons we have.
Yep. The top near the open in Staglitz.
And I think final one would be share button in the top with a modal that has download zip and like shareable URL or something.
Share model that's coming. Right? Okay, so hope this works. Okay.
Yeah, I can see the poll. Yeah.
Did we oh yes. Okay, let's go.
I can see it.
I voted. Oh wait, it's not letting me vote.
I haven't.
Oh, I could actually vote 4 times. No, just kidding.
Oh
no, just kidding.
This was made right before untested. Signed in.
Is it like only I can test it?
Yeah, I think this is
okay. So
joke. What a cool
I
joke.
Guess that's
how dare you? That is such a we're being ruled by a dictator here. I mean, come on.
The community has decided, Eric. What can I say? I'll fix it. Sorry, everyone. I'll fix it and post it on Twitter again.
Yeah, there you go. We'll post the link on Twitter once it's fixed.
Yeah, I think what I've added, what I made is I added the normal stuff like the voting. I tested the voting. Then I've added the roles, so only admins can edit this thing, and I think I haven't just made sure to do the all right. So
you're totally good.
It looks good though.
Like, yeah. Good stuff. So we got 5 minutes left here. So quickly want to hit the community shout outs. And this is like something we want to start doing because y'all are building such cool stuff with Bolt and some of you are forking Bolt. So we put together a list of folks that we just want to put a spotlight on. And Tony, maybe you can kind of kick off with some of the ones that you had put together.
A good idea. Let's actually show some products that work. All right, so I have 2 that were actually posted in our product hunt page comments. So really cool ones. The first one is, from I understand, way to post and later find a place for students to live. I think it's from Belgium. I wish we had someone who understands that.
It's in French. I can translate.
I know. I was trolling you, but yeah, that's so is it right, Joan?
Yeah, probably.
I think there's like a description here, but anyway, so you can actually, there are already several postings here, and you can add a new one somewhere. And it's cool because it's even like when you fill the form, it gives you this, progress bar. So it's like, it works. The second one is chilled CRM. And this is a big one. I just started playing with it for real. And after signing in, so it does have the authorization and everything, you have like a ton of things a CRM would need, and I've just added the first prospect, so it's all like pretty advanced, and yeah, from what I think that was Paul. So from what Paul said, like it was all made with Bolt. I'm not sure if Bolt is here, so I'm curious what the database for this is, because we've been talking about databases a lot in the chat.
I think Paul, I want to say Paul used Supabase because Alex and I actually chatted with Paul the other day because Paul has been one of the most prolific users on Bolt so far, and we were just like, show us what you've been doing. and so we kind of got an earlier sneak peek of this, and we were just mind blown. Like Paul's a super awesome person, just generally too, but a brilliant guy, and has just been able to hammer this thing out in like a couple of weeks. I mean, this,
that is super impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that would have taken me like weeks.
Yeah. I mean, like if not more, right? I mean, it's just like,
I mean, all the polishing, like what
Yeah.
I've just seen with the calendar and like all of those small details, like very impressive.
He's got an OpenAI chatbot built into this thing too.
Yeah.
Like that's like OpenAI powered chatbot. It's like actually like it's hitting OpenAI to like do the inference.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. It's wild.
Incredible. I wonder if this might be the most developed Bolt app, but if you know other stuff like this, just share with us.
I got another one. I got another one. I got another one.
All right.
So there's another person that has been building cool stuff. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. Let's see. So her name's Pitch. I think she's based out of Thailand. So Alex and I actually chatted with her. I think back maybe like a week or two ago. But she's been making an app, which actually is like really a cool idea, made entirely with Bolt. And basically the idea, it's called Viral Hooks. And I don't know how many people here have like tried kind of making TikToks or whatever. I haven't done it, but I've kind of like thought about like what goes into that. And the general idea is basically she's building this platform that allows you to, like, if you think about what makes a piece of content engaging, where you want to like stay on it and not just like scroll, it's there's a hook. There's something that needs to hook you at the beginning and keep you there. And so what this product does is it allows you to go and like see what successful creators, what their hooks are that have gone viral, and then uses AI to actually help you like build your own for like the content you want to talk about, right? And just really, really cool stuff. And Pitch was incredible to talk to. So she's a PM of like, I think at a mobile banking software company over in Thailand. She had originally, like a week before we launched Bolt, she had gotten a quote on the Upwork from like I think a Ukrainian developer to build the beta of this thing. And I think the developer said it'll take like something reasonable, like this will take a couple of months and it'll cost, I think it was like $3,000 or $5,000 to do, which is like, okay, like that's pretty reasonable. but was, you know, like it's you know, a little expensive if it's coming out of your own pocket, right, as a side project. We launched Bolt, and Pitch signed up for the $50 a month plan, and built this thing out in a couple of weeks, and had, you know, had full control over how this thing actually ended up coming together, right? Because she's able to control, you know, the AI in a very direct way. And you know, I have been both a software contractor and contracting software developers, and like the communication loop is really hard to get right. And so, anyways, this is a full product that, I mean, was, you know, literally 1/100th the cost, you know, to build. And it was super cool. Really, she did a great job pulling this product together. So check out Viral Hooks. That's one of mine. I want to give it a couple shout outs. Kev Mack, he was in the chat earlier. Kev has been super prolific forking the bolt.new repo. By the way, Kev, I think you would DM me. I just saw this like yesterday about chatting with us and the team. We'd love to do that. Kev beat us to the punch on persistence. You can see October 21st. Had chat storage, you know, and like Kev's been doing an amazing job building stuff in the open source world. So I just wanted to give Kev a shout and go check him out. Go check out the fork he made of Bolt. Another person I want to give a quick shout out to is Melvin. I think Melvin's here. Melvin is probably one of the most prolific people in the Bolt community, I'd say, of just going and just telling the AI to do stuff and having beautiful stuff pop out. This was something that Melvin posted this week. But you look at that sales dashboard. I mean, that's like, I kind of want to become a salesperson to use this thing, you know? But yeah, anyways, Melvin is awesome. So definitely worth, definitely should follow Melvin. One thing that Melvin actually had mentioned that I wanted to bring up both for the Stackblitz folks on the call. Melvin had this awesome idea of, what if we go and build a directory of the most awesome projects that people can submit to? And this is actually something that we had talked about internally of like, hey, we really need to add a page in the Bolt website or something for this. So Melvin, yes, absolutely. We'd love to chat. I mean, I think it'd be cool if we, you know, we can, you know, build it as a community and make it easy for people to submit to and stuff. And yeah, we want to put a spotlight on all the cool work that everyone's doing. So final two, and this is the last of the community shout outs, but a couple of folks have gone and created communities, you know, on Twitter. Wes created the bolt.new builders community. If we can get the link in the chat, you know, so for folks to go and join this, that'd be awesome. But Wes has been great. Really doing a great job cultivating the community in here. Lots of really fun, awesome people. By the way, HK, I think HK is here. HK is just such a good vibe. Always posting, you know, supportive stuff about people making cool stuff. Quick little shout out. And Mauricio, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, made a subreddit today for Bolt. So bolt.new builders. So this is our official new subreddit. We're running with it. Let's go. So let's get this link shared in the chat as well. So anyways, these are the community shout outs. It just means a lot to have all of you really fired up about Bolt, making cool stuff and helping create a really fun community where people can build stuff and share tips and knowledge on how to actually build incredible web applications like faster than we could ever before. Like I'm having a ton of fun learning from you all and getting to meet everyone and try the cool stuff you're building. And so we're going to be doing this on we're going to be doing these office hours every week. And, you know, for our community shout outs, we are going to be giving t-shirts to folks that for the first time got a community shout out. So for everyone here today, we're going to be following up with you. We've got these pretty sick Stackblitz t-shirts. And if we might have shown this in a previous video, but these are kind of cool. This is actually real valid JavaScript code on the front of this t-shirt here. Every single line. What happens when you take that code, copy, select it, paste it in a browser? I can actually show you. If you take this, copy and paste it, I go to about blank, open up Chrome DevTools, hit enter. The image is the source code of the image itself. It is self-replicating graffiti. This is also known as a Quine in programming. But when you're wearing this t-shirt, this is not any ordinary t-shirt, because you are running a live program on your chest. It is the only t-shirt in the world that is self-rendering. And it's pretty darn cool. So anyway, so all the folks in the community shoutouts, we're gonna be following up, getting you some free t-shirts. And we hope you dig it. And anyways, with that, I think that's a wrap for today. So hope you all enjoyed the latest updates. We're excited to hear your feedback. If you have a question, we didn't get to answer too many questions. If you have something that you'd love for us to answer, feel free to shoot us a tweet. We'll be keeping an eye on it. We'll have the team respond async and stuff. But we're stoked. We're really stoked to have you all be here and be a part of this. And thank you for coming. It means a lot, and it's been a lot of fun. So with that, let's go. Let's do this thing. Have a great rest of your week, and can't wait to hear your feedback on our latest pull request here.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. See ya.
Yes, thanks.
Bye bye.